All right, I'm not sure if this is an attempt to try to win over healthcare Republican doubters like Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul, but we're just learning right now that the U.S. House Ways and Means Committee is looking into not only some technical and policy changes in the language of the bill to make it more palatable for conservatives, but to cost it out with an updated analysis of the budget, insurance impact of the Republican alternative plan that is not a unanimous Republican alternative plan. I want to get into that a little bit more with Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul, who joins us right now. Senator, do you know anything about this update?
Well, you know, what I keep hearing is that they're going to increase the subsidies for those just short of retirement age. So adding more subsidies to the bill sounds more like Obamacare light, not less like it. So I don't know if this is going to help them with conservatives. They may be able to get some of the moderates and liberals in the caucus, but conservatives, we're not too excited about having more subsidies. What we'd like to see is more competition and more lowering of the insurance premiums. If you put a floor beneath the premiums, I think you actually encourage higher premiums. You don't encourage competition.
It looks like the conundrum will be to win over someone like yourself, Senator. You tick off some moderates, let's say. I'm not trying to put everyone into camps here, but who might say, well, wait a minute, we kind of like those credits / subsidies, whatever you want to call them, because they would protect health care for those who either have it now or can't afford it with the changes later. What do you say?
But, you know, the sad thing is we've left out of the debate the big part of, you know, what made this country great in the first place, which is capitalism, competition, choice. And so what I've been advocating is we should have large buying groups. If you want to help the people just short of retirement, there are 37 million people in AARP. Let AARP buy group insurance for 37 million people. Guess what you'll see? You'll see the insurance industry come crawling looking for business, and they'll give you better price and better terms, and we'll fix a large part of the problem. But instead of talking like that, we're talking like Democrats and saying, oh, we want to give some more subsidies, you know, in order to pay for insurance. All that does is enrich the insurance company, but isn't the way you fix the marketplace.
Do you think Thursday, by hook or crook, as you know, Senator, they're pushing to get a vote on this in the House and proceed from there? Is that too aggressive, or where do you see this going?
You know, I've been having discussions with the House Freedom Caucus, and I think they have the 21 votes to stop this. If they hang together, if the conservatives hang together, what will happen is there'll be renewed negotiation. It'll begin anew, and instead of nibbling around the edges, what we're going to be arguing, or at least this conservative is going to be arguing, is that we need to have a separate repeal and replace, that if you try to stick Paul Ryan's replacement on repeal, conservatives just aren't going to bite. We're for repeal, but we're really not for Paul Ryan's Obamacare light bill.
Nevertheless, once again, the president's going to be in your neck of the woods in Kentucky, making a push for this, I assume, among other things, again. Are you guys on the outs, or what's going on here? Is he just pressuring you?
No, you know, I keep talking to the president about this, and I think the president is more open to negotiating than House leadership. But the bottom line, a truism of negotiation is you don't negotiate if you don't have to. So right now, the House leadership has been ramming this through committees. They don't think they have to negotiate with conservatives. They think they can buy off one or two at a time, little by little.
Well, they also think they have the president's support.
Yeah, but it all depends on the vote. So there'll be no negotiation if they have the votes. If they have the votes, I assume they'll ram it through the Senate also. Nobody really wants to have the messy debate about this, but we should debate, are they going to make it better or worse? Are insurance premiums going to continue to spiral out of control? Are we still going to be in a death spiral after Paul Ryan's plan? My answer is yes. They're not fixing the marketplace at all. All they're doing is changing Obamacare subsidies to tax credit subsidies. They really aren't changing the system fundamentally.
But you mentioned something interesting there about if they have the votes. In other words, if they can avoid 21 you know, representatives from peeling off here, and they get passage in the House, that would put even more pressure on you and maybe two others.
I don't think they have the votes now. My prediction is they don't have the votes. If they don't have the votes, conservatives will have earned a seat at the table.
What do they do in the House?
Well, that's a big question. When it comes to the Senate, there's still a lot of discord on both sides. There's probably 10 or 15 Republicans who want more subsidies. There's 5 or 10 of us who want less subsidies. That's why I say it's a conundrum, and maybe we get to an impasse, and then when we reach impasse, maybe we separate repeal from replace, because we have been united in the past for repeal, not so much on replace. And maybe if you allow various groups to have various replacement plans, I've got a conservative replacement plan. The moderates could put forward a more robust government plan, an Obamacare light plan, and Democrats could frankly, put forward Obamacare again for, I think if you had various assorted replacement plans, I think you might get everybody to a point where they're at least happy with the process.
Real quickly, sir, as you know, today James Comey was up on Capitol Hill echoing what others have said in and outside your party, that there's no evidence that he could say of the president's phones being tapped by his predecessor.
Well, you know what's funny about that? Everybody admits that somebody spied on Mike Flynn, and he was part of the Trump campaign. So it sounds like what the president said has already been proven to be true. Somebody listened to Mike Flynn's conversation and revealed it to the press, which is a felony, and you don't do that unless somehow you eavesdropped on his phone conversation. The media's been kind of confused on this. They think there has to be an old-fashioned bug placed on a wire. If you haven't looked lately, most of our cell phones don't have wires. So wiretapping is a broad term for surveillance. Somebody did surveil, somebody spied on Mike Flynn and then illegally released that conversation.
Not on Mike Flynn, but do you think that someone went to the extra level, including a former president, to rope in Donald Trump?
I don't think it's really that important whether or not was it specifically Donald Trump versus his campaign. I think most of the accusations have been that they had surveillance on the Trump campaign at large. And I think the fact that nobody's denying that they did release somebody from the campaign, Mike Flynn, they did release his conversations, that the spying actually occurred. So it's funny that we're arguing this point when in reality, I think most people have admitted it.
It's a difference between, you're quite right to point out the Michael Flynn situation, but Donald Trump was saying that it was Barack Obama who led that effort to tap his phones at the Trump Tower.
Right. I think there's a lot of imprecision in the language when you look at a tweet, but I think wiretapping probably to Donald Trump meant spying, and I think Donald Trump or the campaign also probably meant Mike Flynn. So I think really we're arguing circles around something that most people are admitting that somebody was spying on the Trump campaign, and that actually Mike Flynn lost his job because of an illegal felony in which somebody released the results of spying on the Trump campaign.
All right. Senator, thank you very much. Good chatting with you again.
Thank you.